Hi, my name is Andrew Butel and I'm a co-founder of Telos. This video is our playbook for building a full-stack AI accounting firm. First of all, who is Telos? We deliver purpose-built business software for a monthly subscription. It's fully managed by us, fully owned by you. We're talking about custom software that has been designed from the ground up to model your business and replace your existing SaaS products. Our goal is to make custom software as easy for you as buying off-the-shelf SaaS. What is full stack AI? This is a phrase you might not be familiar with, and Jason Friedman from Y Combinator has explained it really well. Suppose you believe that LLMs are now able to automate a lot of accounting work. There are two things you might do with that idea. You could build an AI agent and sell it to accounting firms. That's what most people would do. Or you could start your own accounting firm, staff it with AI agents, and compete with existing accounting firms. That, my friends, is going full stack. You could do this for any industry, especially one dominated by slow-moving incumbents. Instead of selling to the dinosaurs, just make them extinct. Now, there are some prerequisites to full stack AI. What I want to emphasize is this is a new business model. You're probably very familiar with the tech stack that accountants run that is largely SaaS. And there are some fantastic SaaS products out there, including off-the-shelf AI agents, including job management systems. What we're talking about here is building your own tech stack. Now, there are three things you're going to need, because the first thing is the partner is always going to be a human. The partner is exactly the same as the accounting partner is today. They own the sales, the relationship, they bring their expertise, and they're also taking legal responsibility. That doesn't change. Sitting below that partner is a full stack AI company. It's really important to emphasize that the clients you're delivering accounting solutions to the client. You're not building a tech platform to sell to other accountants. You're actually delivering accounting solutions using your own tech, and you own your tech stack. This is the model. This tech stack will grow and learn with you. It will include an AI agent, it will include automation, and it will include some human-in-the-loop elements to it. This will all be managed by an app director. Now, at this point, I should emphasize that this business model, this playbook is basically based on the Telos model, where we offer to provide this service. We offer an app director and we offer an app. So, as I take you through this, I will use some words like app director, and if you were to engage with Telos, then you would get your own tech stack and your own app director to run it. So that's the model that I'm providing here. I'm not assuming that you need to go and hire your own app director or that you need to build your own software. We're talking about you as an accounting partner with a book of clients having a tech stack. Now, when you're talking about a Telos pricing model here, to create this tech stack is about the price of hiring an employee, an accountant or an engineer. You're going to spend maybe about $10,000 a month for 6 months, and over that 6 months, that tech stack is going to start to really evolve and learn. Just when it's getting useful and really starting to add value, the price of that tech stack is going to plummet from $10K a month down to more like $5. So let's go through the tech stack, because as I said, the accounting partner is at the top, and the two elements here that I've highlighted as being human in the loop are the elements that are green. Now, over time, what we want to see in this execution layer is we want to see it shifting from, it's probably going to be 90% human hands initially and 10% AI, because that's the starting point. You're not going to, on day one, automate this entire stack, and you don't want to. There is a lot of learning to do, and you need human in the loop. But over time, you're going to find that execution layer becomes more and more AI and automation and less human. But you're still going to have a human in the loop, and I'll explain why shortly. The accounting partner sits a little bit on the outside of the stack, and they interact with the AI agent, which I've called Hammy. Now, I've called Hammy because, this is a nod to Hamish Edwards, who was the founding accountant of Xero. So let's name our AI agent after Hamish. Hammy is going to interact with the domain layer and is going to create work. The work is going to go through the execution layer, which is going to be a combination of AI and humans in the loop. Then we're going to go through a quality assurance layer and also a learning layer. And then finally, we have the BizOps. Let's go through all of these one by one. This is the accounting partner. Now, you're the yellow bit in the middle. You're sitting inside this suit, and the entire full stack AI business model is there to make you, is just to amplify you. If you're an accounting partner who loves small business, then go and be the best accounting, to provide the best accounting you can to small business. It's just that now you're wearing this suit that is going to make you that much more effective and able to do your job, but it still is amplifying who you are as an accounting partner. Perhaps accounting is a local sort of thing. You want your local accountant. You want to be able to meet them. Perhaps you need someone who specializes in the thing that you need them to specialize in. All of that still remains true, and the AI amplifies you. Second of all, let's talk about Hammy, the AI agent. We often talk about having a team of AI agents, and we don't find that this is necessary. You can have one AI agent and you can give that agent a lot of different jobs to do. So we call these workflows, but it's really important that your AI agent can operate at different scopes or different levels. And so we're going to have Hammy operate at two very, very distinct levels. What we call the portfolio level, it's operating at the business level. It's interacting with you. You're able to talk about different clients. You're able to plan the week. You're able to, do sort of these sorts of things. It's going to really give you that breadth of being your personal assistant. At the portfolio layer, it will start to delegate work down to the client layer, because when we go really deep into a client's business, we need to make sure we're not leaking between clients. And so we've got this, every single client is going to be siloed. And so what will happen is Hammy at the portfolio level will delegate jobs down to Hammy at the client level. And Hammy at the client level will be able to execute different sorts of jobs because it can go really deep into a client. And so really important that you can create this AI agent that can operate across the two different levels of scope here. And like I said, you might want to name these AI agents different things, but actually it's the same agent doing potentially what's going to become hundreds of different jobs. And so it doesn't really make sense to come up with hundreds of different names. So we'll just stick with Hammy. When I talk about the domain and the work layer, this is the language that Hammy will be talking, and this becomes the first part of your custom-built software. And you'll see some concepts in here that you've already got covered. Now, what's important when you're thinking about a full-stack AI business is you can't just take your existing tools and apply AI to them. I mean, sure, you can. That's not what we're talking about. You're going to be switching off some software here. You're going to be switching off your job management software, your scheduling software, your document repository software. There's a lot of things that you just will not need anymore. These are concepts that, if you're a large accounting firm, scale it back a little bit and start thinking about a single partner who's coming out and becoming full stack. And once that single partner can get their client base and can be operating really effectively, then you can scale horizontally across all your partners. This is not a big bang, drop it into and replace your dozens of partners with this kind of system. It's a gradual journey. Now, the AI is going to be, it's not just going to understand these concepts. It's going to have tools. Show me my client list, set up a new client. Let's talk about a single client. Okay, what jobs have we got on the go? What tasks? If there's a task which needs to be a GST return or produce a management report or even just answer a question, these are things that that Hammy will start to schedule these tasks for execution. We're going to need to talk about accounts and contracts and account balances and forecasts and actuals and all of these accounting concepts. We're going to need to know about different workflows, reporting, documents, like different ways of engaging with a client. All of these concepts, Hammy is going to be across. Really important that this is modeling your business. Now, a lot of accounting firms do look the same, but you'll start to have your own flavor of these and your own way of working. And like I said, this is not a case of trying to tap in and provide an agent that's going to work with your existing system. This is really a case of the AI, of Hammy coming in. And if Hammy's going to plan your week, then yeah, you do need to be able to visualize that. So we really have to think quite a lot about how does an AI agent who loves words communicate back to a human who just wants to see the pictures. So we do not want we do not want Hammy sending tons and tons of words through to our accounting partner. We want them sending pictures and Kanban boards and communicating back to us in ways that we really understand, and that's why these things need to be really, really native in our system. If Hammy wants to create a Kanban board for you so that it can show you your week's work of tasks, then we want to be able to visualize that for you. When we get to the execution layer, I've intentionally left two, the green bits are the human in the loop. And let me explain this execution layer because, as I said before, we expect that on day one, we will be requiring on human hands. And, let's work from the bottom up, and then I'll explain the two human in the loop aspects. And at the bottom, we've got data, and we're going to get data from three different places. We're going to get data. There's going to be a lot of data that we own, when we start thinking about clients and jobs and financial years, all this kind of data we'll own in the platform. There will be data that comes in from APIs. And these APIs could be your banking data, could be data coming in from Xero, it could be data coming in from Stripe. You can be, there's a whole bunch of places where data might want to come from. But the SaaS layer here is, if you think about Xero as a SaaS platform that your clients will be still using. It's not like we're just going to switch off Xero. That's just not going to happen overnight. But we don't need to worry too much about, we want to get some data from the API, but we've also got SaaS products that we're going to operate as user interface. So on top of our own platform, we're going to be building two sets of tools. Everything we do that we create user interface for, we'll also be creating AI tools for. So we start to think about, okay, we need to manage our own clients. This is all going to be done through AI tools, but you need to be able to see it through the user interface. Then we get to the workflows on top of that. Each workflow for the AI is a custom job to be done, the training on how to do that job, and a selection of tools. And so these, over time, you will end up with potentially hundreds of these workflows, and they will start to use each other. So workflows calling workflows. When a workflow becomes a tool for another workflow, this is a model that you might think of as an agent talking to an agent. We just think of it as workflows. It's all Hemi. Hemi's doing a job, and that job can be broken down into smaller jobs. Now, I've got here on the left your full stack accountant, and I think this is a really important part of the model because, when you start playing this forward and going, okay, well, if the world is made up of full stack accounting firms with partners, where do the partners come from? How do the juniors become partners? And I think this is where the junior can come in as a full stack accountant. Now, I've deliberately called it full stack accountant because I'm trying to create a new phrase here. The accountant is going to have a different job to do. The accountant is going to come in and they're going to become an expert across these workflows. They're going to become an expert across delivering full stack accounting and how to interact with the AI and how to get the best out of it. They're going to be working hand in hand with the app director who's going to be actually interfacing with building the software and creating that AI agent. But the accountant, now, if they is going to be really involved in this on a day-to-day basis. Now, I would like to see a model where that accountant comes in as a junior, is learning so much and so fast. They're being mentored by the partner still, and they're sitting in this model. They've got two directions they can, or two career pathways. They can become a partner of a full stack accounting firm because they really understand how the full stack works, and so they're moving into a client relationship sort of role. Or they could move into an app director role with a company like Telos, where they are building and managing this tech stack for other accounting partners. So we still have accountants coming through the system. It's just that their career path looks different. Now, the offshore hands, and I've said offshore, it doesn't have to be offshore, but you start to break down, and when the AI is managing tasks and is allocating these tasks, then offshore becomes a really viable option where you can start having a set of hands. Now, if those hands need to go and do a job in Xero, then we don't need to worry too much about, can we automate Xero using AI, or what if we can't get those journals out of Xero because it's so expensive? That's fine. We can get some data out of Xero from the API, and if there is a job that needs to be done, if a human actually needs to be the one who submits that GST return and checks it, files it with the IRD, then fine, just assign that to a pair of human hands. And this is all part of the full tech stack. The full stack AI is that we know that there is this human in the loop layer, and so we're not trying to say this is an all or nothing. We're trying to build up these workflows, create more and more tools, We'll use SaaS products for as long as we need them, and for as long as they're doing the best job. Are we going to go and integrate directly and be pulling in and reading and writing data from the IRD? No, not when you own your own tech stack in the first instance. But it is technically feasible when it makes more sense than having a pair of human hands do it for you. So this execution layer is where the work happens, but the work is being managed and planned and scheduled by Hammy. It's as much of the work as possible is being executed by Hammy using AI workflows. It's being overseen by the accountant, the full stack accountant who's in the mix and who is really guiding the execution. And the bits that need human hands can be done by an offshore team or a New Zealand team if that's what you prefer. We then get to the quality layer, which is a really, really important layer because, we come back to the service we're selling and offering to the client. It's to get provide accounting services. That has to be done at a very high standard, and it has to be done. There's no room for error. And so really coming back to that partner who needs to still be in the loop to review things and to oversee the quality. It's really important when you're working with AI that you have a self-learning loop. So every time you see a job being done, and if it hasn't been done to a high enough standard, you need to know that you can go in, and this is the accountant's job. If they see a piece of work coming through the execution layer that does not meet quality standards, they can go in and they can improve the tools, the workflows, and they can really just start to improve Hammy. But it's also really important that we have a self-learning layer for every single client. And when we start to, we call this the blueprint because every client will have a blueprint of things we know about them. And there's different sorts of things we need to know about them. So when you're dealing with a client, there's going to be a lot of raw data. And we need to start using AI. So one of the jobs we'll ask Hammy to do is to start summarizing, building a snapshot, building the blueprint per client. What is every bit of financial data, every fact that we need to know about this client? Do they have a loan somewhere? Do they have what are these financial facts that we just need to keep track of? What are operational facts that we need to know? Perhaps the client employs their mother or their family member, or perhaps they've got different, a GM who's in place, and there's certain things we just need to know about the operations of the business that are not financial, but they're really, really important for us to understand that client. The relational layer, again, maybe the example of the mother fits better into the relational layer, but you've often got relationships between entities, and you might have trust over here, and you're actually doing the accounting for the trust and for the business, and maybe there's an investment property, so just thinking about the relationship between entities, but also the relationships between people, who are directors, and those sorts of relationships. Now we do see these relationships modeled out in your planning, your practice management software, but we're really talking about building a blueprint that is non-structured. This is words, this is the best information we know. And the aspirations of your client, really important when you're talking to them about, hey, they're saying, look, I am looking to retire in a few years, or I'm looking to grow the business, or I'm looking to do this, or I actually just want to launch into Australia. These aspirations are really important to build in to the blueprint. And we're going to start to see situations where, because of the, your mother's working in the business and you're providing her with a car, so when you now come to talk about FBT or something like that, these aspects all start to play into it and flow into decision making. As a partner, you're carrying all of this information in your head. You need Hammy to know this, so that Hammy's not all of a sudden just recommending the wrong accounting advice to you as you go to talk to a client, or Hammy would not be helpful if it did not have a blueprint. It would just be far too transactional. So this is a really, really important layer. And I've built it in at the bottom because what we're going to do is every single piece of work that flows through the execution layer, we're going to be learning from. Every single meeting, every single communication with a client is going to be flowing through that execution layer, and we're going to be learning from it. But then it all flows back into Hammy's memory. And so if you remember that Hammy's operating at the portfolio level and the client level, it's really important that when it's operating at a client level that it's honed in on one blueprint, and it's not sort of blurring these between different clients. So this layer is a really important part of your layer. Now, if you start to think about your agent who is, you've bought an off-the-shelf agent and you're thinking about it from an execution point of view, this is the IP of your business that's owned here. And so this is why we believe that it's really important that you can own this data. You've got to own your data, you've got to own your code. You're actually building some intellectual property in your business that is really, really valuable. So coming back to the big picture, the human accounting partner at the top, really, really important. That stays the same as it is today. That partner's right-hand bot is the AI agent, which we've called Hammy. Hammy is going to be interacting with that domain and that work layer. It's going to be doing the scheduling, the planning. It's going to be just creating a lot of that work. The execution layer will be done by Hammy, but also done by your full stack accountant, who will be really working alongside Hammy, and can be done by some human hands in the loop. Over time, like I said, this will become more and more automated and less human, but I believe there will still be a human in the loop. And as I said, this provides us with a really good career progression through to partner. Quality and learning, really, really important. Layer that can't be overlooked. And this again comes back to if as a partner you are responsible, then this is where you're probably going to be most concerned. The BizOps layer, which I haven't gone into in detail, but billing, quoting, sending proposals, preparing documents, preparing contracts, preparing engagement letters, all of these things. The BizOps layer is not necessarily heavy on the AI, but it is heavy on the automation, and we do want to make sure that we are automating all of these things for your business. So let me finish. This is probably quite a different model to anything you've heard of before. It's quite a different model to software as a service. And what excites me about AI is today AI is good enough. If AI never got any better, it has done enough. It has completely changed why we build software. It has completely changed how we build software. It has completely changed who can build software. What software does has completely changed. It's not AI that's going to change the world. It's the software that we are building with AI that is going to change the world. And so this is why I think, building that software in and becoming your full stack AI accounting firm has never been financially feasible before. The only model that we've had is for a tech company to build some tech and to sell it to a bunch of accounting firms. That model has now changed. Thanks for listening. If you would like to talk further, then we can connect you with an app director who knows the accounting space really, really well, and we're happy to talk to you about how you can turn your, or maybe not your entire accounting practice in day one, but how you could take one of your partners and turn their part of the business into full stack AI.